guys ready? Ready? Good evening and welcome to the February 24th, 2025 meeting of the Shawnee City Council. I'm Mayor Mickey Sandifer and I'll be chairing this meeting. I'll do a roll call at this time. Councilmember Whitted. Present. Councilmember Gillette.
Present.
Councilmember Murphy is online. She's homesick right now.
Present.
Councilmember Kimling.
Present.
Councilmember Knappen.
Present.
Councilmember Steens.
Present.
Councilmember Walters.
Present.
Councilmember Birchfield.
Present.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance with a moment of silence led by the students from the Belmont Elementary School leadership team, and followed by a moment of silence.
Come on, guys. Everybody up. We're facing that way, okay?
Do this. Don't go so close. Don't go to me.
Okay, everyone coming. Good.
It's ready.
That's right. Keep going. We're facing right over there, guys.
All right. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, how about each of you say your name a minute?
You go first. My name's Addie. My name's Brooklyn. My name's Riley.
Okay, we'll start over here.
My name's Zoe. My name's Grant. My name's Adeline. My name's Gretchen. My name's Violet. My name's Maynuna. My name's Summer. My name's Louise. My name's Natalie. My name's Amelia. My name's Hope. My name's Callan. My name's Betsy. My name's Natalie. No, Junior. My name's Henry.
Okay.
My name's Kaliana. My name's Georgia. My name's Reese. My name's Eva. My name's Dawson. My name is Andre.
Well, thank you guys for being here. And as I said out in the lobby, you guys are tomorrow's leaders. So just watch over all of us older people and keep us in line and then come in and fix what we mess up. How's that?
Okay.
I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
That's fun. Okay, next, I'd like to explain our procedures for public input. In the event or in an effort to enhance residents' ability to present information to the governing body, anyone interested in addressing the governing body is strongly encouraged to sign up to speak by noon on the day of the meeting, but it is not required. Information has been posted online on how to sign up. By policy, comments are limited to 5 minutes, and no person shall speak more than once about any one agenda item. Only comments related to the city business are permitted. Disruptive acts are not permitted, as per policy number 7, and will not be tolerated. After you are finished speaking, please sign the form at the podium to ensure we have an accurate record of your name and address. Additionally, comments can be submitted to the entire governing body via email at governingbody@cityofshawnee.org. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there anyone on the council that would like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion for the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is business from the floor.
Mayor, we had one pre-register, Larita Crane.
Okay? Right up here. And when you're finished, sign the ad at the podium with your name and address.
My name is Larita Crane. My name is Larita Crane, and I live at 7124 Summit Court in Shawnee, next door to a licensed Airbnb in Shawnee. Every time it is rented, I end up gathering water bottles, fast food containers from my yard, even condoms, trash not put in containers, and cars up and down the street. On one occasion, we heard a barking dog. The barking didn't stop and it went on all night. The next day, we called the police and they came by this time, and the animal had been trapped in that home for 24 hours. All of us, including children, were very distraught. On another occasion, someone poured a substance from their car, appeared to be a combination of gas, on our side of the street, and it left a large brown spot. This has been 2 years ago, as big as that table over there. Garbage cans are put out, our homeowners association says, the night before. The owners pay no attention to this. Cans are out on the street at any time, and they put garbage in the recycling bin. I called the trash hauler and was informed that they are contaminating the recycling. Yes, that's why I called. However, nothing is done. Last week, the trash was put out on Sunday, February the 16th for the Tuesday pickup. Then we were notified that due to the safety of the drivers, there would be no pickup. The rest of us put our trash bag in and they stayed out there. And as I speak tonight, tomorrow is a trash pickup. And those cans have been out there 10 days and it's still out there and will be out there when I go home tonight. Cars are parked continually. I'm in good health at 82, but my 84-year-old husband isn't. And constantly our driveway is being blocked by people renting this house. It's a hotel next to us. And if I were to have to take him to the hospital, I couldn't get out of my driveway. So I don't quite understand how it was licensed, but how it is that the city of Prairie Village has enough respect for their homeowners to ban this. We own a small property in Prairie Village, and this is a letter that I got from the city of Prairie Village that says, as of October 21st, meeting of the Prairie Village City Councilor, it has amended the city's rental licensing program to require a minimum rental duration of 30 days. This decision bans short-term rentals in Prairie Village. Why is it that I have to live this way? I didn't buy into this thing. I've been there 25 years, 22 years now. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And 3 years ago, we had neighbors up the street that wanted to put in a chicken coop. They live on the largest lot in the subdivision. So they had to have all of us sign out within a certain radius of this house that wanted to put in this chicken coop. Now tell me this, why is it that the neighbors had to sign off on a chicken coop, but not on one of these Airbnbs? It has really, really affected our quality of life. I have several pictures here of cars parked up and down the street. Here's the spot that I was talking about. They put garbage in a recycling bin, which clearly contaminates all of the recycling. So then I don't know what they have to do with it. Maybe they have to throw it out, but they don't, the carrier, the people who pick up the trash, they don't know any different. And all these, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm leaving all of this stuff for you guys to study and just hopefully, that's probably not big enough.
Thank you.
Oh, there's mine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Is there anyone else in the audience like to speak on anything?
Where we don't know each other. Right? Talking about the same subject. Francis King, 5133 Valentine. Once again, thank you for getting rid of the problem we had like that one at 5130 Valentine. Unfortunately, they're doing something else, but doing it discreetly. You pulled their license, but they have 7 young men that have been staying there since the beginning of February. 2 trucks, 7 of them come in and go. They're doing something else. But this lady's point, they've changed from Airbnb, let me get my email out, to VRBO. So I've told the city about this and nothing's been done. But there are 2 homes in Shawnee, probably one that she's talking about, right past Shawnee Mission, south of Shawnee Mission Parkway. Houses 25 people. They advertise for 25 people, 5 bedrooms. There's another one right up here at 14905. 30 people, 8 bedrooms. They list twice. They list for 15, they list for 30. It's going on. It can't be regulated. So if you're not going to ban them, put the 30 days in that she's requesting and I'm requesting. Not just our neighborhood pulling license, but getting rid of these disgusting hawks on our neighborhoods. That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience like to speak from business from the floor? Okay. Hearing none. Next on the agenda is mayor's items. I have 2 items this evening. The first is the mayor's proclamation for Severe Weather Awareness Week. The second is the donation of a plaque to the city of Shawnee on behalf of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Parks and Recreation Director Tanya LaCare will provide additional information on that item. First, I'd like to invite up the Shawnee Fire Department's Divisional Chief for Emergency Management, Matt Epperson.
Whereas Severe Weather Preparedness Week is a yearly opportunity to raise awareness about the importance of preparing for severe weather in Kansas, and whereas the Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies severe weather and flooding as among the costliest types of natural disasters, and whereas thunderstorms, tornadoes, and floods can happen anytime and anywhere with little warning, and whereas being weather aware includes having multiple trusted sources of information, including a NOAA weather radio, local broadcast news, and notified JOCO, and whereas all residents are encouraged to practice their sheltering plans during the annual test of the outdoor warning system on March 5th at 11 a.m., and whereas the governing body would like to officially recognize the City of Shawnee's Office of Emergency Management and its partners for routinely offering their invaluable services to our community. Now, therefore, Mickey Sandifer, Mayor of the City of Shawnee, Kansas, does hereby proclaim March 3rd through the 7th, 2025 as Severe Weather Preparedness Week and urges all citizens to make sure they are prepared in case severe weather comes their way. And now to the podium, Tanya Lecure, Parks and Recreation Director.
I'd like to invite the members of the James Ross Daughters of the American Revolution and family members to come forward as we make this presentation. Former member Carol Breakall was the chair of their America 250 celebration and unfortunately has passed away. So we are grateful to have her husband and daughters with us this evening as we celebrate this evening. On July 4th, 2026, our nation will commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The journey towards this historic milestone is an opportunity to pause and reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and look ahead towards a future we want to create for the next generation and beyond. Tonight, we have the members of the James Ross chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution with a presentation of this plaque to the city of Shawnee, commemorating the upcoming celebration of the nation's semi-quincentennial. This plaque will be installed at Veterans Tribute Park and will be dedicated in November on Veterans Day. The James Ross chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution was founded in 1909 by a descendant of James Ross, a private who served under General George Washington in 1777 in the Revolutionary War in Worcester County, New York. The local chapter here is based in Johnson County and maintains an active membership of volunteering, preservation of historical artifacts, and of course, genealogical record keeping. The text on this marker reads, Revolutionary War Patriots. This marker commemorates the men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in a noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to found the new nation. 1775 to 1783, presented by the James Ross chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States. They hope that this new marker installed at Veterans Tribute Park will become a source of pride for the local community to celebrate the brave patriots who founded our nation, and as a reminder of the importance of emulating their conviction, courage, and cooperation towards national unity. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The next item on the agenda are items from the Planning Commission meeting of February 3rd, 2025. Item number 1 is to consider approving an ordinance for RZ 25-01 to rezone 0.55 acres from AG to R1 Single Family Residential located at 5910 Alden Street. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item will be handled by Doug Almond, the Community Development Director.
Good evening, everyone. The rezoning will allow the property owner to subdivide the existing house in 0.55 acres of the overall 7.07 acre parcel and convey the remaining portion to another owner. Because of the existing ag zoning and the minimum 5 acre lot size required in that district, the 0.55 acre lot cannot be split out of that parcel without approval of the R1 zoning request. R1 districts have a minimum 9,000 square foot lot size. An ordinance is required to approve the rezoning. In that case, 5 votes are required to uphold the recommendation of the Planning Commission. 6 votes would be required to deny the request and override the recommendation of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did vote by a number of 7-0. They recommended that the governing body approve RZ 25-1, subject to the conditions listed in the Planning Commission staff report. That would complete our brief report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions for staff? Anybody in the audience side up for this? There's no questions. I'll accept a motion. Tony,
Move to approve RZ 25-01.
here.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is to consider approving an ordinance for SUP 25-01, a special use permit to allow RSP LLC to operate an online auto sales business in the CH Commercial Highway Zone located at 12480 West 62nd Terrace. Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, Doug Allman will handle this item.
Good evening. This is another straightforward request. The applicant is proposing to locate a small automotive sales business at 12480 West 62nd Terrace. The applicant will be the only employee with operations occurring Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The business conducts sales online and at auctions. It's more or less just serves as an office. There is the possibility that there might be 1 or 2 cars parked there during the week. They're in process of being transferred to another owner. But it's not a typical car lot as you would think of with multiple cars for sale and people coming visiting, that sort of thing. Then the applicant's lease agreement does include provision of those 2 spaces that are reserved in case cars are dropped off, but they're then readily transferred out. Again, an ordinance is required. 5 votes to uphold the recommendation of the Planning Commission, 6 votes to override the Planning Commission. And in this case as well, the Planning Commission voted 7-0 and recommended that the governing body approve the request for the special use permit.
Anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up to speak on this item? If there's nobody signed up, I'll accept the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item are staff items. Item number 1 is to consider a grant Evergy easement for the Justice Center Police Department kennel. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very simple item. It's an easement for Evergy. However, dealing with the canine kennels out at the police department, I asked the chief to give us a brief update on this project. But the item before you tonight is just an easement for Evergy to serve the new kennel with power.
Sam Larson, Police Chief. As City Manager mentioned, this is strictly for the easement for the power of the kennel. The original plan was one that would not need an easement. However, Evergy couldn't get the power they needed to the facility from a nearby business, the church just north of our building. So they are requesting this to give us power. The building is in place. It's on the concrete pad. It is for the care and maintenance of our 3 active canines. We have 1 retired canine and we'll be replacing another one in 2025. So we'll have another retired canine that we'll be taking care of. So that's to provide power to the building. Once we get power in there, we'll finish the HVAC and then get water to the facility once the weather warms up, and then that building will be operational. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone on council have any questions? Anybody in the audience sign up for this? No? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion. Angela?
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is to consider approving final change orders to contract number 2024-067 with VF Anderson for the Johnson Drive and Mauer CMP replacement project, EN 3580. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item will be handled by Kevin Manning, the Public Works Director.
Good evening. So this item covers the intersection improvements at Johnson and Mauer, and then also several pipes that were lined along Mauer. Project's complete, and this change order for almost $10,000 is for some additional sidewalk that was added, and then also some additional sodding that was needed.
Any questions from council? Anyone in the audience sign up to speak on this? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion. Angela?
Move to approve.
Jacqueline? Have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 3 is to consider approving final change order to contract number 2024-026 with Centrix for the Shawnee Town 1929 Chapel Project, EN 3555.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item will be handled by Tanya LaCure, the Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening. This evening, we have the final change order to the chapel at Shawnee Town 1929. The list of change orders was listed there. Majority of those were due to changes in the environment as we did it. So the drainage and also the highest steeple in the area happens to be at Shawnee Town now. So some things going on with that. So we're asking that this be the final, approve the final change order for the chapel.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Go ahead, Kurt.
Yes, I've got a comment and a question. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just want to confirm or state that while we're asking for a change order here, which is an increase, this project came in under budget, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. And then secondly, I was just curious, what time periods planned for a ribbon cutting, if you started taking reservations, if there's
Came out today.
planned programming?
I am so glad you asked. So our ribbon cutting and dedication will be on Saturday, April 12th at 10 a.m. and you are all invited, obviously, and we would love to have you there. We have already had multiple requests for reservations for the chapel already. We are starting to take those as they come in now. We received our final occupancy approval on 2 weeks ago. So just getting those all finalized right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya.
Very good. Is that it? Anyone else? Tony?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Not a question for staff, just a quick FYI, I'll be voting no on this as consistently as I voted no on this project. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone sign up to make any comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll accept a motion. Sierra?
Move to approve.
Catherine?
Second.
A motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
We have one nay, and that was Tony. Item number 4 is to consider approving final plans and authorize staff to bid for the Garrett Park Improvements Project, PN 3564.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, Tanya will handle this item.
Thank you. This evening we have with us Stephen Rhodes and Larry Reynolds, who were architects on this project. And so I have a brief presentation to go over some items that we've encountered over the past year as we get ready to ask for approval to take this out to bid. So following this presentation, if anyone has any questions, please let us know. So just a little bit of background that's unique to me, that when I first started with the city was when the Parks and Pipes first sales tax was approved. And this was the first project that was funded through that over 20 years ago. So excited to see this park get some additional love and brought up to improvements for it. So there were improvements identified during our master plan process and also in the ADA transition plan that we had done in 2022. So there was a lot of items that will be happening within this renovation that is because of to bring it up to ADA standards and improvements with that. $3,848,000 has been budgeted in the approved 2024 CIP from the Parks and Pipes. So this is a second Parks and Pipes project for this. The RFQ for the architectural services with Vireo was approved by the January of 2024. And then the city council approved the contract with Vireo in March of last year in the amount of $239,182. So we had our kickoff meeting in April 2024. I came to the governing body with the council committee to talk about a number of these things. We're just going to touch on really quickly this evening as we go through. But the anticipated renovations did include all of these items listed here. But as we've talked earlier, the renovation to the exterior, the Garrett House, did cause some adjustments to what we were planning to do. So some items that impacted this project as we went along, we did receive a $40,000 grant from the National Fitness Campaign, and that was accepted by this body to go towards a fitness component, outdoor fitness component that will be part of the new project. Public engagement surveys is a part of this the project that we've done to this point. It included online surveys as well as in-person questionnaires during our parked event this last summer. some questions that we asked about what kind of feel did you want to see with this project, as well as some areas that are outdated. Are we wanting to update those? So those are some questions that came from that survey. And then, as we all know, the Garrett House build investigation was conducted about the structural stability of the house, and was another piece that we worked through this past year. So here is a rendering of what our fitness court will look like as you're driving down Monticello. This is the back side. It will have our city's logo on that. And on the other side are the numerous components that will allow for individuals to use it for body weight exercise and calisthenics, those type of things, as well as QR codes that will step them through a circuit as they go around. If anyone's interested in seeing this in real life, the city of Bonner Springs also received a grant and installed theirs within the last couple of years as well. This design was chosen by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. There were a number of different presentations or designs that was with this coloring scheme. This is the standard scheme, and this is the one that they had chosen. So as we talked about the Garrett House, the recommendations, again, we anticipated spending $150,000 to bring the exterior up as we renovated the entire park. We had that hail damage on the roof, and so when we went in to do that, it caused us to continue with an additional study about the stability of that, which was at that time deemed to be at least double what we anticipated. So due to that and trying to be fiscally responsible for the money that we are given for this park and to make sure that we can make it go as far as possible, we did work with the Garrett family and the Monticello Historical Society to find an alternative that could still represent the Garrett family and their contributions to our community, as well as tell the story of what this family gave to the community. So there were some options that we talked about for that, and I'm at that meeting, and we did decide to have to demolish the facility. We did save some stones from that will be reused within the new park. We did do the demolition in-house, so to save some funds there. And so that happened this fall, and I know some of you have heard some comments and calls about that, but the Garrett family and the Historical Society, and obviously we all worked very hard to make sure that we represented them correctly and in a way that we can still show the benefits to this family that they brought to us. So this new design will show a new shelter on the site of the floor plan, the footprint of what the building was. We've integrated some concrete work that will show where the rooms were divided. There will be a non-operational fireplace at one end of it, similar to the fireplace that was there, but integrating some of the stones that we took from the cornerstones and the stone that was there. So this is something on both sides of the fireplace will be standing pillars with information storyboards, so we can tell the history, and more so than what we were able to do with just the house boarded up as it was. So in the second project, it's part of this project we're looking at was pickleball. So during the public engagement phase, we did give them the option of the community of the park and what kind of activities would you like to see? Is there anything that needs to be upgraded or changed or included? And pickleball scored very high on that list. They were also asked about a family game area, keeping the half-court basketball that was there, and the pickleball courts were high. So knowing that and knowing how we have other neighboring communities have had to deal with different things within pickleball, we made sure that we were doing something that there was an additional study done already regarding the sound for it. There's about 7 homes that will be within that within 300 feet of the pickleball courts. And so we're working on different mitigation activities that will do that. So that has been considered. We will be working with the houses as we start developing it and as it goes along. And if there's any issues we have alternative things that we can add later to do it. But we want it to be a very open, inviting location for folks to come and play. And so we will take multiple steps if needed as we move on. So, but the hours of the parks are from 6 a.m. to dark. And so, or till 10, we are changing it specifically for this component of the park to reduce that. And it will not be a lit court. And so that is something that we are, one of the mitigations that we're trying to do is the timing of when that will be used. So more to come with that as we go along, but we will definitely, we're working with the houses that back up to that. It is a public park and and it has been a public park. So there's a lot of activity, basketball, baseball, things have been going on. So it's not like there has not been any type of activity in the area. So, in working with our noise ordinance within the city, the firm was able to do the study and we feel confident that we can proceed with a pickleball court there, which people, I know it's only 2, but people are pretty excited. So these will be specific pickleball courts. We already have pickleball at Listowel Park and at Herman Laird Park. Both of those are also tennis courts, can go back and forth. And even the ones at Herman Laird, which are right across the street to those homes, we have not had any issues with sound with those homes. So we're pleased to be able to add this amenity to the park. So with the timeline that's coming up, we are asking to authorize staff to bid construction of this project. Once approved, construction pre-bid meetings will be held. Bid evaluations and pre-construction will be in May. In June, we anticipate starting this project and being wrapped up by the end of 2025. So here's a couple of photos I want to show. Here is our new playground. So it is a larger playground than what's currently on site. It has a universal design, meaning that it is accessible for all. It's designed for all abilities. This is from Landscape Structures. This is called the Volo Air, brand new. I guess we kind of like to take this brand new, bring it to Shawnee, make it shine. And so this has a lot of play value built into it. And it has ramping with inside of it with the netting that does make it more accessible for people of different abilities to climb or crawl up into it and be able to participate with the structure. So you see there we have 2 swing bays. One is the disc swing, like we have similar at Wilder Bluff Park. And then the other bay has a belt swing and then a chair swing. So again, accessible swings there. To the right of that, you'll see the musical instruments. We have musical instruments out at Wilder Bluff Park, and it is really fun activity that all kinds of ages and kids participate with. And then you'll see the large Volo Air in the back. That is a 3-story structure with 3 tube slides as well as smaller slides that go off it, and play value everywhere. So there's games they can play, different activities. Here's another view of that. So in addition to the Volo Air that's there in the center to the right, the round, we go round, which is the same structure that we have at Gum Springs Park. It's an accessible merry-go-round that gets tons of views and people really enjoy it. It does have accessibility for wheelchairs to go in, as well as people, as kids using the benches and stuff on there. So it's something that the design of this playground is something that everyone can play together and not be separated. One other image that is not in these drawings is we will have our 2 bouncers like we have at Gum Springs, because they were so very popular. And so want to make sure that's in there. And then here to the right is our 2 to 5 age play structure as well. It has climbing, it has imagination games. There's all kinds of activities that the kids can play with there. And that is the market and the cafe. So the kids can also use their imagination to do a farmer's market there too. I'm showing this part of the structure a little bit closer, and it doesn't appear as well in the picture, But this is where the green section in the middle of it, if you can see where it says Garrett, it says Garrett Park, and it has a leaf motif. So this will be personalized to the park. And again, a really nice opportunity to promote the park and the family. And you can see it from all sides of this structure. So that is all I have for a presentation. If anyone has any questions, again, this evening we're asking for to authorize us to go out for bid for construction. If you have any technical questions, as I said, we have Vario with us this evening that can come forward and answer any questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Tanya, for that. Yes, I have a couple comments and then a question. So one thing, I'm really glad that you are incorporating, I know we talked about the Garrett family, and so that's nice to see that that is being done in that way. The only thing I wish I was thinking back to that is there was a lot of public comment on that. And so I don't know if it would have helped, like if we would have had something more where the public had some input in that. So I do kind of regret that maybe we didn't do that, but I know obviously you had to make a really quick decision too. And so, and I realized there was some other stuff in the background. So I did want to just acknowledge that though. Do you, and maybe you don't have an answer for this one, but do you know like a timeline on this? Like, I know it's still very premature in the project, but as far as how will the whole, like, will you just do it by areas when you shut it down to fix those areas? Like if you're doing the pickleball or if you're doing the playground, you know, things like that.
Good question. So the entire park will be closed down starting this summer and through the fall. So the ball fields will be closed. The trails, as much as possible, will be closed. There's a lot of ADA issues with the trails to make sure that we bring them up to code and do some stuff. So it's going to be something that will be completely shut down during that period of time.
Okay, and then we'll probably give obviously some ample time to let people know, because so we don't hear you closed down the park and we didn't know, you know.
And we'll make sure everyone knows about it. One of the things we're working with, there's a website, or on the city's website, we have a park project page, and that will be given updates as they go along, things that are changing, but everyone will be well informed that park will be under construction. So,
thank you.
Any question?
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. Just one question. You mentioned that we'll be engaging with the 3 houses that back up regarding mitigation for the pickleball. And you said that we haven't had any problems with the other parks in terms of the neighbors. I was just curious, have we reached out to them yet, these 3? And what are their initial reaction?
Actually, I have not spoke with them prior to this time. When we did the study, again, 55 decibels is kind of where people start hearing it or acknowledging that it's there, because it is a distinct sound. It's not loud, it's just distinct and stuff. So once this was approved, we will talk. There's about 11 homes on that street, but there's 3 or 4 that are directly adjacent to it that may have a higher chance of hearing something from that. So we will be reaching out to them once we move forward with the project.
Thank you.
Tanya, just wanted to follow up a couple quick questions. One, wanted to thank you and staff for bringing forward the $40,000 grant from National Fitness Program. That's a real big win. Have we been able to find any other additional funding sources to reduce the cost of this park? And is that an ongoing process by any chance?
So we always look for grant opportunities for all of our projects. Right now, we have not identified any additional ones for this specific one, but we are working on a number of others for other projects. And we'll actually be having a site visit for a trails project this week. So.
Okay. We used to play baseball there with my kids, so I'm very familiar with this park, although it's not in my ward. I'm assuming the pickleball courts are going to go where the baseball field was currently.
There's only two pickleball courts, and they will be replacing the half-court basketball.
The half-court basketball, okay. Okay, so that's more towards the front of the park, if you
right
will,
off the parking lot,
Okay,
right next to you. You actually pass it to go to the ball time.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, with the investment of redoing this park, I can just hear the future comments of folks in Ward 3 is why is there no lights? And so I would say that we need to make a serious effort to reaching out to the citizens in that area and find out if there's going to be huge objections and anything else we can do to mitigate the sound. We don't want to have the problems that Prairie Village had, obviously, and I know you're alluding to that. So I'm sensitive to that. I'm glad to hear that you're in front of that, which is great. But I think it's a disservice if we put the expense of putting a really nice pickleball court in there and there's no lights. I know Mill Valley has lights with their tennis courts, so we're not putting tennis courts in there. These are for pickleball only. And I would really think that when the sun goes down and it's a little cooler in July and August, it'd be a great time to go play pickleball. So I'd be really sensitive to see if we can find some other better way to, fix that issue, bring it closer to 43rd Street or something to mitigate the sound. So
We currently do not have any type of lit fields or activity areas in any of the parks. And specifically out at Stump Park, when that was built, that was a consideration and of the neighborhoods and having that located there. So that has not been something we've normally looked for, other than with the existing tennis courts, adding additional lights, but something we can consider in the future. But there's only 2 courts here. And so it's not like the large pickleball complexes that I think you see in some of the areas. And we're going to find the right place for that too. But for right now.
And then
it's
the
a nice
final
amenity.
question I had for you is that it's my understanding there's a bunch of creek work along the trail that needs some serious attention. There's collapsing creek beds and things like that. So some of the neighbors that back up to as you go towards Monticello, I think. So
There's actually a separate project. I think that would be Kevin Manning question. There's another project that will be run concurrent with that to address some of those things.
okay, so that's also in conjunction, but not necessarily tied to the
It's not
park
tied to
portion
the
of it.
park
Okay.
project, but it is going to be.
Very good. I appreciate that. Thanks for that heads up, because I know I've had some questions on that. Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you. Laura?
Yeah, thank you. Tanya, I think I say this every time you present anything related to the park structures to us. Just it means so much to me that you put so much work into the universal design of the playground, making sure everything is ADA compliant. It feels like we go above and beyond, and that means so much to the families who do have children who otherwise wouldn't be able to play on our playground. So again, thank you for putting so much energy and attention into making sure that our parks are really accessible for everyone.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone sign up for this? No further comments. I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 5 is to consider approving final plans for the facility and IT building remodel PN 3606. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colin Duffy, the Deputy City Manager, will handle this item tonight.
Mayor and Council, the item before you is to consider approving final plans and authorize staff to bid this facility remodel project. The building is located on the corner of Johnson Drive and Canaan and was built originally in the 1940s and served as a volunteer fire station. Since then, it's had a couple different uses, primarily as the Parks and Rec Maintenance Division until they moved out to their new building in 2023. From then on, it sat vacant until there was a remodel project in City Hall that displaced Public Works, who had their engineering department stationed in the building. After that, after everyone returned to City Hall, there was a flood in City Hall in 2024, which displaced facilities and IT into this building. Fortunately, though, this building actually worked to their advantage as it provides some strategic location as it's centrally located, gave them more space to work, and allowed for ease of deliveries. So then we decided to look into what a rehab of this building might look like. We began planning this out as what might we do to have a cost-effective solution to develop this project. Let's see, in November, the governing body approved the hiring of Design Lab as the architect to create this remodel project. The building project is $500,000 for a total budget, with $200,000 of that coming from a federal tax credit we received in 2024, and the remainder being from budget reserves. With that, the furniture bid will be separate from this and be brought back for the governing body approval, although that will probably be used furniture to continue to keep the project budget low as well too. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on this building remodel project.
Any questions? Anyone sign up for this? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion. Angela,
Move to approve.
Laurel,
Second.
got a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Item number 1 is to ratify the semi-monthly claims for February 24th, 2025 in the amount of $3,424,215.66. Anyone have any comments? Or anyone signed up for this? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion. Jacqueline,
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is item number 2, miscellaneous council items. Paul, do you have anything you'd like to discuss?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mayor, Councilmember Murphy has an item.
Okay,
Yes, I just wanted to give a thank you for the new podcast, the Shawnee Pulse. They're informative and they are at the same time fun to listen to. So thank you to Doug and whoever else has been part of putting that together.
okay. Does anyone else on the council have any items? Tony?
Thanks, Mayor. Just a quick question for staff. If we can check into the resident that spoke earlier doing business from the floor of the home that's a short-term rental near 7124 Summit Court, whether or not it is a registered and licensed. If it is already, you've been able to confirm that, or can you confirm that, please? Great, thank you.
Here,
So the past few meetings, I've heard a lot about environmental issues. I know that our residents have a deep appreciation of nature. The student council president even made creating a garden a priority, and it's something I've heard from other residents to have community gardens. And we've also been asked about Shawnee's long-term environmental plans. I would be interested in looking into a committee that focuses on Shawnee's relationship with nature. I believe that that could address some of those issues and also expand into looking into ways Shawnee can save or possibly even generate some revenue through sustainability measures. And it could also work to promote parks and local programs. If the council agrees, I would like to ask staff to look into what this committee might look like, how it could benefit Shawnee, and be brought up at a future council committee meeting.
Jacqueline?
I wasn't sure if she wanted.
Would need a consensus if the council is interested in discussing this further at a future meeting.
Are we doing consensus like that? Or do we have to bring that up?
So do I need a motion?
No, we wouldn't need a motion. I would just need a consensus if there was some direction for staff to look into the item and bring some information back to the governing body.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I guess what, between Parks Board, Parks and Rec Department, other departments, is that already being covered and is it something we need to dive deeper into?
It's a very good question, and that would be part of what I would probably need to get into is what is under the purview of any existing committees, and then bring some of that information back.
I guess my only concern would be allocating any funding / hours that would be dedicated to research if we actually need to continue to do something like this. So creating something else too much before we find, I guess, once we find out if there's a need, I just want to make sure we're not creating a whole nother form of need for revenue for that specific department or committee or whatever. So that would be my only concern.
What do you need from us?
Again, a consensus, I guess, to have staff do a preliminary look through this to bring back some information and then further narrow that down. I don't really have a lot else. We would just do our best to sort of interpret what would be providing you with more information.
Who's interested?
Well, I was just gonna say, do you have any idea on how many hours that would take, staff hours or?
It is something staff could handle. I
Okay,
wouldn't have any reservations with
because
putting together some information.
I'm kind of torn on this one. I think I'd have to learn a lot more about what the vision would be. I think that, like community gardens are kind of in right now and a nice thing to do. I don't really see how that goes into the environmental and I wouldn't want to spend any funding on it. That said, I guess my opinion is if we have several people, say three or more on the council that think something like this is important to discuss, I'm up for discussing and talking about it. And then not necessarily that I would be for it or not, but I'm up for talking about it if more than a couple of folks are interested and feel strongly about it. So thank you.
Laura?
Thank you. And thank you to Council Member Whitted for bringing this forward. I think that just based on this conversation, there is a need to know more, which is the exact next step that we're asking for, it sounds like. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity. So I would definitely be in favor of taking the next step with this.
Okay, Jeannie, are you on this?
Yes, I'm in favor of giving it a look, at least to find out what next steps would be.
There's 4. Do we have anybody else that's interested? If you need me, I'm on it.
Okay, we'll put together some preliminary information and provide that to the council. We won't expend any outside funds on that. I think we can accomplish all this with the staff that we have in place.
Then it would come back at a committee meeting.
Yeah, that'd probably be appropriate. Just to give an overview of a report. Maybe we can see what that yields.
Tony?
Yeah, it sounds like this will come back at a later discussion. I'll just make one little comment. We put together an arts task force. It wasn't supposed to cost the city any dollars, which eventually cost the city a lot of dollars. Although the art on Monticello looks okay, near Mill Valley High School turned out all right, but it's still going to cost us. I'm not in favor of this kind of project. It's not in our budget for the next year. And so just thought I'd share with you my thoughts at the moment. Thanks.
Anyone else have anything? Jacqueline?
On another note, and I know Tony mentioned this, I've actually received an email about 7120 Summit Court prior to our resident appearing at the meeting this evening. And I was going to bring it up when we talk about the review of the short-term rental regulations. So looks like you're already on it, but just to reiterate, I'm getting more than one complaint already for that specific one. And so I'd love to see us get.
I've had 2 complaints on that one.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Hearing none, if there's no other items, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. Jacqueline?
Second.
Have a motion and a second on this item. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.
And just, we'll let you know that the council committee meeting will start in approximately 5 minutes.